Highlight and decode the resilience that the Prime Minister is talking about in the face of the West Asian crisis. With us on the broadcast is Major General S.B. Asthana, defense and strategic expert. Many thanks for taking up the time so late in the night, General. But the Prime
Thank
Minister
you.
has sort of hit the nail on the head, isn't it, General Asthana, when he says that all channels have been opened, quiet diplomacy is the way. And when somebody asks me, this is what the Prime Minister said at the What India Thinks Today Summit, he said, when somebody asks me what side am I on, I say, I stand with Bharat.
Certainly, in fact, it's very well known in the entire world that the kind of diplomacy, the kind of stand which India has taken, has done good to India and people of India in a manner that we have the strategic autonomy. We are looking at multilateral engagements, which he highlighted. We are standing for peace and dialogue, which he highlighted. And also, when we look at the challenges, I think we have taken all the challenges head on. I think we came out very strong out of COVID and with a major transformation towards digital India, towards digital finances. So that I think was a great opportunity. And even in the present circumstances, we are talking to everyone. We have diversified our sources of energy, and from 25 countries, we went up to 41 countries to source our energy in the time of crisis. In fact, we have gone to areas where we never went, like buying gas from Norway and Canada. That was never done, but we have gone to ensure that our people get the right kind of energy at the affordable price. So energy security, energy affordability, uh, that is, I think, being thought of and being worked out. So when we look at the national interest, in fact, if I have to, in strategic terms, if I have to sum up as to what Prime Minister normally says, see, we have a aim in India, uh, which is peaceful, inclusive growth. You can put all kinds of, shall I say, slogans into that. And if you put a timeline into it, then it becomes Viksit Bharat 2047. And for that, we have to look after Indian interest, and we have to interact with everybody in this world to get the best out of them for the people of India and whatever interests India. I think that is exactly what he is doing, and
Yeah.
that is exactly what he's propagating, and that is what I think everybody is respecting to. Back to
Yeah,
you.
yeah, absolutely, General. When the Prime Minister says that the global capitals are, in fact, in awe of India, how India has been able to, via quiet diplomacy. Remember just a couple of days back when some of the first oil tankers made their way to the Mundra port, it was External Affairs Minister Jaishankar in his constant conversations and diplomacy and dialogue with his Iranian counterpart, Abbas Araghchi, that made that possible and made it happen. And that's why the entire world is probably looking at us right now as well. Diplomatic bridges, the Prime Minister has been speaking to the King of Oman, he's been speaking to the leaders in Saudi, he's been speaking to Mohammed bin Salman. So many leaders that the Prime Minister is constantly, a lot of diaspora that is the Indian diaspora that works and contributes to the GDP of these Gulf, Cooperation Council countries. And that's a great model for the entire world to now take a look at. When the Prime Minister says that India is growing despite the challenges, what wrong is the Prime Minister saying? I think he's uttering a fact. He's saying the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the whole world. That's why he said, "Saanch ko aach nahi wali." Which the muhavara which he mentioned,
Yeah,
it basically says the whole world is, it's for the whole world to see it
yeah.
and feel it in a manner that our tankers could get through when the war was on. Similarly, when Russia-Ukraine war was there, our people could get through from every war and every tragedy and every calamity. I think we have been able to pull out our people safely and successfully. So this speaks volumes of the concern which we have for our people, and the way India has been looking after its own interest. So Indian interest obviously comes first always and every time, as was rightly mentioned. And also when we look at the various scenarios, the we people are now finding the advantage of not aligning to any side, because at any point of time you don't know from whom you need what. And like in this particular case, although Gulf was our best bet, we had good relations with everybody, but then the situation so turned that the energy flow from Gulf got disrupted in some manner or the other. And then at this point of time, if we are okay with Russia, if we are okay with USA, we can get energy resources from both. In fact, perhaps India may be the only country in this world where the Russian tanker and American tanker landed up at the same time in the Indian ports. So, which is again for the world to see as to what kind of diplomacy this country has actually pulled out in a manner at the time of crisis that they are getting it from everybody.
General, today so much has happened vis-a-vis the West Asian sector. Donald Trump came out and said that there's going to be a 5-day pause. Now, whether that 5-day pause is because Kremlin said, dare you touch our built power plants in Russia, or is it because of the IRGC hitting out and saying, if you touch our energy projects, then the energy projects and power plants across the Gulf are going to be attacked? Is it because of that, or is it because, like Donald Trump says, there has been some sort of diplomacy and breakthrough in terms of talks, and 5 days' time is what Donald Trump has given? Now, is that a pragmatic timeline? And whilst you're answering the Iranian front, the war front, how India has played its cards so right. You rightly mentioned, we've been talking to all the sides. This multi-alignment strategy has clearly worked out for us in a tumultuous and a geopolitical churn, sort of a contemporary setup that we're dealing with. So how pragmatic is Donald Trump's timeline? Can you really believe the US president anymore? And secondly, how India has played its cards right in the face of this confusing and very adverse situation?
See, you can't believe President Trump by any stretch of imagination. But what you can read out as an analyst, what I can read out is
Yeah.
that he is under tremendous pressure, and he knows two, three things have happened. One is he threatened Iran, and Iran has counter threat given counter threat to him, and since Iran has stuck every time tit for tat, so he knows that the counter threat is not a bluff. If I actually go for the power plants, Iran is going to strike the power plants of everybody else and their sources, as well as perhaps the water plant as well. And I think there is a big turnaround when Dimona was hit. That I think has also given a little bit of shocker to Israelis and to Trump. That in case it could have been, Iran is quite capable, it could have been the nuclear power plant itself.
Yeah.
As of now, it was a township, but it could have been the plant itself. So that's another area. The third is, of course, the domestic as well as international pressure is also mounting on him, and therefore, I think Iran, from their point of view, would have, I think, made Trump to reach again his taco movement. Taco movement is Trump always chickens out. Now, that is a saying which it said that when the going gets tough and when somebody takes a stand against him, then he chickens out. Till then,
All
he's
braggadocio statements. But hey, the IRGC general today said there has been no direct or indirect contact with the
exactly.
United States. It's all a hoax. It's basically Donald Trump backing down in the face of all these threats that are happening. I think the South
Yeah.
Pars, the Ras Lafan, all of that was also a pivotal moment. And take a look at the new Majid heat-seeking missile that also damaged an F-35, puncturing that invincible narrative that was put forth on that platform of F-35. But again, before we let you go, final 30 seconds, General, how India is playing its cards right, and how do you see the future when it comes to India? Of course, gas crisis is something that the Petroleum Ministry and the intergovernmental briefings have been telling us that we've been playing our cards right on that front. But what else? What else can we expect in this 5-day pause, and our diplomacy, is that intact and in place?
I think India is doing whatever best it can under the given circumstances. In these 5 days pause, we must get maximum gas as much as we can. Number one. Number two, looking at the long term, what India needs to do is we have far too much of dependency of gas on Gulf. We will have to diversify it, and whether cost notwithstanding, the and also a lot of internal perhaps refinement and lessons are also there to for diversification of our energy consumption pattern. I think all these put together would perhaps help us fighting the energy crisis much better.